Hey everybody, happy Monday from beautiful Cancun. Before I go live, I want to show you a quick shot. I hope you guys can see of the beauty. Hopefully you can hear me because it's a little windy and it's kind of been stormy on and off today, but it is simply beautiful. And I am all beach looking, so don't mind me. So listen, I'm coming to you with my daily live on Success God's Way, and I'm reading this fantastic book. It's called With New Eyes by Margaret Becker, and I have to give a shout out to my friend Patty McConnell. Hey Julia, it's great to see you. My friend Patty McConnell, I think, gave me this book a few years ago, and you know, sometimes you get a book or you feel a little bit compelled to buy a particular book. That's better. Now you can see the water. Hey Kelly. I know it's not St. John Kelly, but Cancun is awfully beautiful. And it's just not the right time to read it. So I picked this book up as I began this year and really walking in the center of God's will to help women build God-centered businesses while continuing to build my own Arbonne business and my consulting business. And I read a chapter today. And, you know, all day I kind of put off doing my Facebook Live for you guys because... I gotta set my pen down. I was sort of like, what am I gonna say? I want to make sure I bring them value and that sort of thing. So from this book, With New Eyes, is the chapter on With New Eyes. And this is kind of her, it's kind of a journal by Margaret Becker, who I believe is a Christian artist. And I don't remember what year this book was written, but anyway. And I wondered how many of you could relate to this, where you feel like you've hit the wall in your business, and that you just feel like you've done everything that you can do. And so in this chapter, sorry, I'm trying to get to where I underlined, she talks about feeling like she's done everything that she can do. And so, she has hit a wall in her career and things are not going the way that she wants, and she's an artist and she really is trying to break through with that, and she really keeps trying to let it go and let it be, just leave it alone and walk away from it. And you know, sometimes as entrepreneurs that happens to us, like we hit these walls and we just think, is it even worth it? And so she meets with this professor and she tells him, you know, I'm stuck. I've done everything that I can do. I keep even praying for God to take this away from me and to lay it at his feet, at his throne, and walk away because it's just not coming together the way that I really felt like it would. And this is what he says to her. Let me say that I think you are right where you are supposed to be right now. You are in what I would call God's greenhouse. What I mean is that a greenhouse is an environment where growth is accelerated. It's not comfortable in there. It's hot. It's wet. There's a lot of pruning. It's not a particularly clean environment, but it is where the best growth happens. And so the reason I was inspired to share this with all of you today, in building a God-centered business, first of all, if you've never built a God-centered business, you may be hitting a struggling point, and I know that's exactly where I was a few years ago. Like, I hit this struggling point because I'm a type A, I'm a driver and a striver, and I realized that driving and striving was just not getting me where I wanted to be. And as I started to shift that, I realized there's a lot of pruning that goes on. And, you know, there's so many scriptures that I could share with you, particularly, you know, when Jesus says, I am the vine, and you are the branches. We are the branches, and the Lord prunes us so that we can be more fruitful, you guys. So I want to really just leave you with this in your spirit today, that if you're struggling, if you're at a place as an entrepreneur where you're just like, I've tried everything, I've done everything, I don't feel like I'm moving forward, but I keep praying about it and God keeps leaving this entrepreneur opportunity or this business in my life, you're probably in God's greenhouse. And so what you want to start to look for is the insight. Remember, we talked about that the other day. Versus the eyesight, right? So seeing things with new eyes, but seeing things with God's insight. And really look to pray through the pruning and the growth. Hey, Mary Beth. Oh my gosh, Mary Beth, one of my inspirations, which is exactly why I'm doing this. It's so good to see you. I can't wait to get your feedback on this message. But really praying through that pruning, you guys, because there's purpose in what you're doing. And when you're building a God-centered business, like God's going to take you all different directions, maybe not straight to where you thought you needed to go. And success is going to look different than you have defined it or than the world is defining it. And don't be afraid to be bold and step out into that. That's very different than the world wants us to be. Very different. But when you're building a God-centered business, it is going to look differently because you're building something that honors Him and serves His people. So I want to give you guys the opportunity. Comment below if this resonated with you. If you know anybody that can benefit from this, please share it with them. And if you want more of this kind of information, hop on over to my Success God's Way group. It's a community that I'm building of like-minded entrepreneurs and individuals, particularly women, because that is really my calling, is to step out and coach women into building a God-centered business. And I want to create that community because we can all benefit from that, especially when we're in God's greenhouse and we're being pruned for His greatness and His glory. So I hope you guys found that helpful today, and I'll see you tomorrow.